season of FCS football kicked off last week in the opening round of national playoffs. Second-seeded Montana State and third-seeded Montana join the fray less than 48 hours from now. Hello, everybody. I'm Scott Breen. Thanks for tuning in to Championship Chase, our FCS playoff preview for your Cats and Grizz. Now, with playoffs opening last weekend, 3 road teams picked up victories: Illinois State, North Dakota, and Yale. The Yale Bulldogs rallied from a giant second-half deficit. They were down 35-7 at halftime. They come back and stun Youngstown State 43-42. Now, show them what they've won, Johnny. A trip to Montana State this week. Bobcats are the overall number 2 seed behind reigning champion North Dakota State. And, of course, the Mighty Bison own 10 FCS titles, including last year's 35-32 win over Montana State. Meantime, Montana's your number 3 seed, followed by Tarleton State, Lehigh, Mercer, and Stephen F. Austin is 7. UC Davis in there at the number 8 seed. The top 8 were all awarded opening round byes and get back after it this weekend. And a lot of fans already talking about a potential rematch between UM and MSU should they both punch out in the next couple weeks. That would happen over in Bozeman for a semifinal round, but a lot can happen between now and then. The Cats are a top 2 seed for the second consecutive go-round. They were number 1 last season, but this year's Cats look to be just as dangerous. They've won 10 straight, capping the regular season with that 31-28 win in Missoula to claim the outright Big Sky Conference championship. MSU features one of the nation's best defenses, allowing just 17 points a game this season. And eliminate the final at the University of Oregon. MSU's points allowed drops to just 13 a game against FCS opponents. Don't overlook the offense. MSU scores 38 a game and 40 a game in the FCS, which allows, it's among the top 5, I should say, as that high-powered Bobcats set up to host Yale on Saturday at noon. Our Luke Shelton takes us inside the first ever meeting between these programs.
Hey everyone, Luke Shelton here at Bobcat Stadium. And on Saturday, Montana State will open its playoff run against an intriguing opponent in Ivy League member Yale, with the Bulldogs coming off a stunning comeback effort in the first round.
The Bulldogs found themselves trailing Youngstown State 42-14 midway through the third quarter before orchestrating a comeback for the ages to prevail 43-42 and set up the first ever meeting between Yale and Montana State.
Yale brings in a very resilient team. Those type of comebacks that they had on Saturday don't come about for the faint of heart, for sure. How they got it done and how they put that together, at the core of it had to be a ton of belief.
Turned it off at halftime, honestly. I thought it was going to be over, but they're a good team. They never quit, and looking forward to this one.
The Bulldogs will bring a 7-game win streak into Bobcat Stadium, and slowing down Yale's offense will come down to limiting the big plays of quarterback Dante Reno and their explosive running back.
And Josh Pitzenberger, they certainly have one of the best running backs in the country, over 1,400 yards at this point. And, in some ways, he just kept getting better for sure.
And as for the Bobcats, well, they're riding a 10-game win streak, and Saturday will be about sticking to the mentality that's gotten them to this point. After opening the season with consecutive losses, MSU quickly found its footing and stormed through the remainder of its regular season schedule, culminating in its first win at Washington Grizzlies Stadium since 2018. The way Adam Jones puts it,
how we started the year, we kind of had to find our identity again with all the new guys, especially running the ball. And I think we've continued to grow each and every week, and I think we're peaking at the right time.
And Montana State and Yale kick off right here at noon on Saturday. In Bozeman, Luke Shelton, MTN Sports.
All right, thank you, Luke. Montana, meanwhile, is your 3rd seed after rolling through the regular season with 11 straight wins before losing their finale. Once the Grizz kicked off, though, they didn't see a bye week, meaning this week's rest couldn't have been more important. The electric big 3 of quarterback Keali'i Ayat, running back Eli Gilman, and receiver Michael Wortham are all giving fans plenty to cheer about. They draw up one of the most dangerous combinations in the country, threatening to strike at any moment. Montana scoring nearly 500 points this season. That's 4th most in the nation. Defensively, the Grizz have shown a high-risk, high-reward unit. They give up a lot of yards, but they delivered 29 sacks and 18 interceptions. with this 3 seed. They'll be at home inside Washington Grizzlies Stadium. That kickoff also at noon Saturday with an interesting one against South Dakota State. Our Kyle Hansen shows us what to expect from a pair of programs that know each other well.
It's a heavyweight clash in the second round of this year's FCS playoffs as the Montana Grizzlies get set to host the South Dakota State Jackrabbits, as these two programs are ready to line it up for the third straight year in the playoffs with their seasons on the line.
We've been watching a lot of their win in Bozeman the last couple of weeks. So we've kind of seen them, just not our side of the ball until the other day. This will be a great game looking at the two football teams.
It's been a rocky season for the Jackrabbits compared to the domination of previous seasons, but injury has had a lot to do with it. Starting quarterback Chase Mason went down in mid-October, and after starting the season 7-0, including a road win at Montana State, injuries took their toll as the Jackrabbits lost 4 of their final 5 games in the regular season. Mason returned last week as SDSU blew out New Hampshire in the opening round of the playoffs.
Like everybody, they're banged up. They're like us. We've missed 4 of our top 5 corners for most of the season. It's what you do with it, the situation you get put in. They've rallied the troops kind of like we have and found their way in the playoffs.
Meanwhile, the Grizzlies finally got a bye week after playing 12 straight weeks of football, as the team also healed and rested to gear up for this playoff run.
A dream come true. I mean, we're a great team, and I'm just confident and blessed that I'm going to battle with these guys. Best team continues to win and go on, and every Saturday it's going to be somebody different. Football's football, so we'll see.
It's the biggest one of them all, where win or go home is the mentality week in and week out.
This is definitely an important game, and it's an important game because it's do or die, and we got a lot of seniors on the team, so that's kind of the message that's being preached right now.
Reporting in Missoula, Kyle Hansen, MTN Sports.
And we are just underway here on Championship Chase. After the break, a look at just how dominant your Cats and Grizz were throughout the Big Sky this season. We'll be right back. Well, welcome back. A high number of Bobcats and Grizzlies were honored by the Big Sky after wrapping up the regular season. Montana and Montana State cleaned up the all-conference awards, including Coach of the Year, Offensive and Defensive MVP, plus Newcomer of the Year. Our Tom Wiley shows us how that impressive puzzle fits together.
The 2025 Big Sky football season has come to a close, and the postseason awards are in. This year, Treasure State's standouts dominated, led by 2 of the top players in the league. Meet Offensive Player of the Year Eli Gilman of Montana. He led the league in rushing and touchdowns and became the first Grizzly player to win the award since quarterback John Edwards in 2002. And Defensive Player of the Year, Caden Dowler of Montana State. The Billings West product recorded 4 interceptions, including 2 returned for touchdowns in back-to-back weeks. Montana State's Brent Vegan was named Coach of the Year for the 3rd time in his Bobcat tenure and 2nd time in a row. He's the first coach to claim the honor in back-to-back years in over a decade. While MSU quarterback Justin Lamson claims Newcomer of the Year after transferring from Stanford, accounting for 26 touchdowns and leading the Bobcats to another outright Big Sky title. The only non-Treasure State player to claim a postseason individual award was UC Davis quarterback Caden Pinnock, who was named Freshman of the Year. When the dust settled, Montana led all schools with 18 all-conference selections, led by first-team quarterback Keali'i Ayat. A close second, Montana State with 16 honorees, including a league-high 3 first-team selections on defense. For a complete look at the full list of all-conference players, visit montanasports.com. Tom Wiley, MTN Sports.
Thank you, Tom. Believe it or not, this is the first year of Ivy League participation in the FCS playoffs. And as we mentioned earlier, Yale made the most of its opening round. Bulldogs overcoming a 35-7 halftime deficit. That was against Youngstown State. They won it by a point. Josh Pitzenberger rushing for 209 yards and 3 touchdowns. And don't overlook this guy. Pitzenberger is the Ivy League's Offensive Player of the Year. He had over 1,200 yards and 15 touchdowns on the ground this regular season. Yale scores just a tick more than 30 points a game, which ranks 35th in the FCS, so not brilliant, but defensively the Bulldogs give up less than 20, which is 18th in the country. Linebacker Abu Kamara was the Ivy League's Defensive Player of the Year. The junior had 3 fumble recoveries, 2 picks, and 1 returned for a touchdown defensively in each of those games. Abu Kamara, do not overlook him. Now a closer look at the Grizz and South Dakota State. Jackrabbits have ended Montana's season each of the past 2 years. They beat them a couple seasons ago in the FCS title game and then again in last year's second round. This year's SDSU squad is a different team, though, under first-year coach Dan Jackson. Jackrabbits, impressive out of the gates. They had wins over Sacramento State and Montana State, but after a 7-0 start, injuries started piling up. They derailed the Jacks, who then lost 4 in a row. That slide coincided with quarterback Chase Mason's absence, but naturally he returned in time for last week's playoff opener against New Hampshire. He passed for 230 and 3 touchdowns, and with all those Jackrabbit injuries, it's hard to get a good statistical read, but they still allowed fewer than 20 points a game and scored north of 28 this season. That includes several with their third-string quarterback, redshirt freshman Jack Henry. So it's hard knowing what to expect on either side of the ball when they meet the Grizz Saturday at noon. And after the break, a closer look at key players for Montana State. Same for the Grizz, still ahead. We're back in a moment. Welcome back. All Justin Lamson had to do this season was replace a Montana State legend at quarterback, step into a team with a fan base and championship aspirations, all under a new offensive coordinator. You know what? He nailed it. Some thought the junior might transfer, or who transferred, might just be a game manager, but it turns out he became the offensive engine. Lamson enters the playoffs on a hot streak, passing and rushing touchdowns in a school record 7 straight games. He finished the regular season with over 2,300 yards and 20 TDs through the air, plus almost 600 yards and 11 scores on the ground. Lamson hasn't thrown a pick since September 20th, and he has just 2 on the season. He's completed over 70% of his passes, which is also on pace to close with a Montana State record. And defensively, look out. It turned into the Caden Dowler show, a missile in run support. We knew he could be a downhill kind of guy in the inbox safety, but you know what? With all that said, and more this season for a dominant unit, Montana State's front 7 is a rock-steady force, but Dowler proved to be an absolute game breaker. He leads the Cats with 78 total tackles and 4 picks, each of those picks in the final 3 regular season games. Now, Caden returned 2 of those for touchdowns, including that pivotal momentum-changing play over in MSU's road win over in Missoula. Now, Julius Davis is producing a big year in MSU's offensive backfield, but it's a season that almost didn't happen. From setbacks to Sports Center, the Wisconsin transfer is making the most of his final season in Bozeman. Grace Lawrence featured the star running back after his highlight reel game at Northern Arizona. If you missed it, it's worth a look.
It didn't take long for Julius Davis to become a star at Montana State a couple of years ago when he transferred in from Wisconsin. He was granted a medical red shirt after battling injury most of last season. Now he's making the most of his final year in the blue and gold. And if you're the opponent, watch out, because you just might get hurdled.
3 receivers left, 1 to the right. Snap. They hand it off. Julius Davis looking for room. Bounces along with a high hurdle, and he's into the end zone. Touchdown, Montana State.
You know, in the moment, I didn't realize it was that big of a deal. I was just kind of playing football with the guys, and we saw an adjustment throughout the game, and the line blocked it perfectly, and I made the read, and the tight end sealed the edge, and then kind of the rest is history.
Davis found himself on the Sports Center top 10 yet again for the jaw-dropping play. But for him, it's never about the personal accolades.
People around the world get to see this, and you can bring attention to the program. But ultimately, I'm focused on the team win, the team stats, just how we're performing as a team, because I want to win as a team.
Davis has found a home at Montana State. When he was given an extra year of eligibility last season, he knew he wanted to stay in Bozeman.
You'll see the community that supports you, how genuine those people are. It gives you every reason to come back. When you've experienced other things and then you come to a place like this, you'll see why.
This is a spot that gave me another chance, gave me a renewed love of the game. I know he spoke to that, and all he wants to do is be at his very best, and for the team to do its very best.
Outside of his athletic ability and talent, one of the most critical intangibles he brings to the team is his competitive edge.
His competitive nature is pretty extreme. That's a real positive force for this team.
It comes from just the adversity I've been through, so just trying to translate that and bottle it all up into a competitive nature.
Outside of the team, he's also always playing for his family.
My family is another reason why I play. They've supported me and helped me get to the point that I am now.
In Bozeman, Grace Lawrence, MTN Sports.
And welcome back. When Kaylee Ayotte arrived at Montana, he had big shoes to fill, his own dad's. Brian, of course, was a prolific passer for the Grizz back in the 1990s, but Kaylee's building his own brand while putting up top numbers in the Big Sky. Take a look. After splitting reps at QB last year, Ayotte won the competition in camp this fall, became the unquestioned starter, and then he thrived, seemingly improving with every game. Ayotte finished the regular season with over 3,100 yards, 25 passing touchdowns, and he threw for multiple scores in 8 games. He added another 7 rushing TDs, including 1 in each of his last 4 games. If there's one question mark this season, though, it's Ayotte's number of interceptions. He's thrown 8, but keep in mind 4 of those came in the first couple of games, so rapid improvement on that front for Kaylee Ayotte. Eli Gilman, meanwhile, is making his case as one of the best running backs in Grizz history. He was surprisingly left off the list of finalists for this season's Walter Payton Award, but you know what? Gilman was clearly the best back in the Big Sky. He led the conference with over 1,200 yards and 17 touchdowns, and now has nearly 3,400 career yards. He should move into 4th on UM's career rushing list during Saturday's game. Gilman has the size and physicality, of course, to grind out tough yards, but he's also shown enough speed to get to the edge and hit those big plays. Well, Geno Leonard embodies what it means to be a Montana native playing for the Grizzlies. Through setbacks and multiple surgeries, this guy has absolutely shown the spirit of Montana. Here's a look back at earlier this season when our Kyle Hansen showcased the embattled Missoula native following a big game.
Geno Leonard has extra motivation to appreciate each and every opportunity he gets to step on a football field. The senior linebacker for the Montana Grizzlies is a Missoula native who grew up dreaming every fall to suit up for his hometown school, knowing exactly what he wanted to do.
Grew up in Saturdays in that stadium, playing football at the tailgates, acting like I was, Caleb McSturdy or whoever the linebacker at the time was. Like, I wanted to be that guy, and I wanted to, play linebacker here at the university.
But it's been a career of trials and tribulations for Leonard. After helping lead Sentinel High School to the 2020 AA State Football Championship, Leonard walked on at Montana, looking for a chance to live out his dream. The first 2 years were a typical cut-your-teeth grind. But in 2023, as Leonard was ready to break out, a setback got in the way.
I had a good spring game, was really excited. We were in the weight room. I was back squatting randomly, just a random weight that I could do. Next thing you know, popped a disc, legs went numb. That was back surgery.
So Leonard missed the full 2023 season because of it. Fast forward to fall camp in 2024. Again, he was ready, but again, life had other plans as a foot injury halted his playing in the opening week.
I was getting really fed up at that point, but mentally, I really took a toll on me. Coming off of a surgery, getting really excited for a new season. I thought I had an opportunity to play a little bit, but that got taken away from me again.
But by leaning on his teammates, family, coaches, and faith, Leonard pushed through it all. But back in the spring, an even more serious issue arose as Leonard was dealing with a heart condition called atrial tachycardia, a disorder that affects heart rates and can cause plenty of side effect problems and discomforts that the young athlete dealt with throughout the years.
I had to go get a surgery. They went in through my groin, opened my heart, zapped off some cells and some things to clean up my heartbeat and my heart rate. So I was able to get that all figured out. And another one, it's like a back surgery, a heart surgery, a foot surgery. It's like they keep these things coming. But finally I'm like, all right, I'm feeling good. This will be it.
This year, fully healthy, Leonard has made the most of it. He was a team captain for Montana's first game, and this past week against Cal Poly, he snagged his first career interception as the kid from Missoula and the Grizzlies continue rolling on a memorable final ride.
I think everybody's just so happy to see everybody be successful, and I've seen that in my life, just making plays on the field. A lot of guys are really happy for me, just especially going through all those things, and yeah, just seeing it all through and not coming up short on, this dream of playing football here and, finishing out with my teammates.
Reporting in Missoula, Kyle Hansen, MTN Sports.
Both Montana and Montana State kick off at noon Saturday. The games air exclusively on ESPN+. But we will be on site for both and deliver coverage throughout the playoffs on air and online at montanasports.com. Thanks for watching Championship Chase, an FCS playoff preview of Montana and Montana State. Have a good night.